Hi, welcome to the demo video of MosaiQ, APQC's latest innovation in the world of business process management. MosaiQ is a cloud-based solution designed to simplify business process management for organizations of all sizes. In this video, we're going to look at how to effectively use MosaiQ and just how simple managing and improving your processes can be. To start, navigate to the APQC homepage at www.apqc.org and log in. Once you've logged into the APQC website, no additional authentication is required to access MosaiQ. After logging in, you'll first be directed to our knowledge base, but click on the MosaiQ tab at the top and then the Start Here button to begin. If you already have existing frameworks in MosaiQ, you'll see them on this page. MosaiQ supports an unlimited number of frameworks, and you can see that I've got several here already, but let's create a new framework. We'll give our framework a name, and optionally, a description to describe in more detail what this framework is for. Click on the Create Framework button, and you're ready to start adding elements to your new framework. To start adding elements to your framework, click on the New Elements button and select Import Elements. You'll see that all the APQC frameworks are available, but I'll select the latest version of the Cross-Industry Framework. Within this framework, I'll add Process Group 4.2, Procure Material and Services, by dragging it to the left and dropping it in my custom framework. Notice that all of the child elements below the one that I selected are also copied over. Not only can you import existing APQC process elements from the list of elements, but you can also create your own. Let's create a custom element by selecting Create New from the New Elements button. We'll call our new element Strategize Product Placements. Custom elements are fully editable and are helpful when you need to customize the framework beyond the process elements that APQC provides. To use your custom element, drag it into your framework on the left. Once you've created your custom framework in MosaiQ, you can click the Export button to download a Microsoft Excel-based version of your framework directly to your computer. You can export your framework at any time. The exported file is great for sharing with colleagues that don't need the full MosaiQ experience, but will benefit from the common language that you created through your custom framework. MosaiQ's main strength is that it gives you the ability to measure, manage, and learn about your organization's business processes in context. And you'll see that in the tool, we have a tab to represent each. Let's start with the Measure tab. Within the Procure Materials and Services element, you can see that I can browse all available benchmarks that APQC has for this element, just like you'd see in Benchmarks on Demand. View the details of each benchmark by clicking on it. For each benchmark, we have a full definition, and more information about the benchmark can be accessed by clicking More about this measure. Here, you can see the formula for calculating this benchmark, the type, units, and more. Additionally, you can modify the peer group comparisons and see what the performance looks like across different peer groups. For all benchmarks in MosaiQ, you can access the same type of information. Browsing the benchmarking data is a great way to get a quick idea of the general performance of this process without having to fill out any surveys or participate in any benchmarking studies of your own. Browsing benchmarking data is useful, but if I want to make decisions based on this benchmarking data, I want to make sure that my organization's data is properly validated and compared to the rest of the data set. MosaiQ depends on business entities to do this. A business entity is an arbitrary subdivision of your organization's corporate structure. It could represent your whole company, a specific business unit, a shared services center, or a collection of facilities working together to execute a specific cross-functional process. Business entities are a key component of participation in open standards benchmarking. We don't have any existing entities in this framework, so we'll need to create one. Let's call our business entity Product Placement 2016, referring to the group working on these processes. Once it's created, you can enter your estimates or even link up your participation in one of APQC's open standards benchmarking assessments to this entity. For this element, let's enter an estimate of this entity's performance. This estimate can then be seen on the Estimated Measures section for this entity on this element. With this performance data entered, I can see how I compare to peer groups, including the top, median, and bottom performers for this measure. In addition to the provided APQC measures, MosaiQ also allows you to create your own. To do this, click on the Add a Custom Measure link and enter the required details. Custom measures are helpful when you have custom elements or when APQC doesn't have a measure for the process element you're working with. To associate an open standards benchmarking assessment with one of your business entities, go to Surveys under Settings. From here, we can link our procurement survey with our product placement 2016 business entity that we just created. Now, if we go back to our frameworks and back into our demo framework, you'll see that our data is populated in the Measure tab. Security is very important to APQC, and MosaiQ uses user groups to control access to your frameworks. In order to give others access to your framework, you create a user group, add users to it, and then associate that group with one or more parts of your framework in order to grant access to one or more users. By default, your framework is only visible to you. Click on Settings, go to User Groups, click Create a new group, and then enter the name of the user group you'd like to create. To add users, type the email address of the user that you want to add into the box. It's important to know that you can only add users that have logged into MosaiQ, so be sure that everyone you'd like to include has completed the registration process. Add the people to your group and click Save. Your user group has been created. Back inside our framework, we'll click on Framework Settings to open the Framework Settings sidebar. Under Who can access this framework, you can toggle the setting from just you to certain user groups in order to grant access to those groups. Permissions can be set like this at both the framework and element level, and anywhere else that you see the lock icon. MosaiQ is flexible. You can add anyone to a user group that can access MosaiQ. This means you can collaborate across organizational boundaries. Let's move on to the Manage tab. Here, you can manage all your process-related content, including RACI charts, SIPOCs, process maps, and more. In MosaiQ, we call all of that content an asset. Upload a new asset by clicking Upload a new asset now. Let's give our asset a title, so others on our framework will recognize it. You can upload a file directly, and it'll be stored securely within MosaiQ. You also have the option to include links to external documents, like SharePoint sites, a location on your company intranet, or other web pages. And finally, let's talk about the Learn tab. One of the foundational features of APQC is our knowledge base, and MosaiQ helps you get deeper insights and practices related to any process element and their corresponding data. After selecting an element by clicking on it, I can click on the Learn tab, and I can see content from the APQC knowledge base related to this specific element. All the materials that I need to improve my process are here, at a glance. We know that MosaiQ is a very robust tool, and APQC would like to make it easy for you to use and get the support that you need. We have a few ways to do that. The first is our self-service help center. Here, you can search for things like, how can I create a custom measure? Or who creates the content in the knowledge base? In addition to that, you can call 1-855-9-MOSAIQ, that's 855-966-7247, email mosaic@apqc.org, or register to join one of our weekly support calls. Our support team works 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. This concludes our MosaiQ demo. Thank you for watching. Get started using MosaiQ today at www.apqc.org/mosaic. To learn more about membership at APQC and what it can do for you, visit www.apqc.org/membership.